right, welcome to True Ballers Podcast. What's up, Abenz? What's poppin', bro?
Life, man, everything's good. It's a new year. Hopefully all of you guys, the viewers, are enjoying the new year, reaping the benefits of new energy, a new aura. So everything's good on this end. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. Just continuing, trying to hit the gym. I was thinking about this before. I hate when people use or I hate when you go to the gym in the new year and it's like packed because first of all, it's annoying, obviously, it's packed. Second of all, why aren't people going to the gym the rest of the year? You know, like people just use that New Year's resolution as like the excuse to not go to. It's not New Year's resolution, I'm going to start going to the gym. New Year's resolution is everyone else's excuse to not go to the gym the rest of the year. So like when it's packed those first couple weeks in January, I get annoyed by that.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one too.
All right.
I was actually just there. And I didn't put one and one together, but now that you brought that up, I kind of just put one and one together. I typically I'm on it. Guess it must have slipped my mind, but yeah, man, stay in
college
the gym.
is the word.
Be consistent. Be consistent.
Stay off the kids. Stay off the drugs. Stay off the weed. Stay in the gym, bro.
Stay in the gym.
Listen to Uncle Stephen A. Stay off the weed. Stay in the gym.
Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. Shout out to First Take. And stay off the weed.
All right. So we got a little bit to talk about today. Thanks for everyone for following, for tuning in. So starting off, COVID-19 has made its rampage through the NBA, Alex. We've seen the Celtics cancel, I think now like 2 or 3 games, including one coming up tomorrow against the Magic. So what's going on? How do you think this is going to ultimately affect the league? Obviously, the vaccination came out a little sooner than expected, which is good. I think that people are worried. People are a little nervous that cancel enough games. How do you make up for that schedule? So what's your take on COVID-19 and how it's affecting the NBA this season?
So, prior to the season starting, we saw that the NBA had implemented the bubble at the end of last year, and we saw how effective that was. And we also saw that in the NHL. But this year, they took a different model, different step, where teams are now traveling. They're playing in their own arena, similar to what we saw in football. And if you recall earlier in the season, football, there was a lot of COVID cases. I think the NBA needs to, take notes from what happened there. And even Major League Baseball, when they came back, we saw a spree of cases just arise. And we're finally seeing that in the NBA now. So I think the games are going to continue to be played. Makeup games may happen. They may not happen. It might be similar to what happened in the bubble. Not all teams were able to complete the season based on their record. So if a team gets to the point where they're just out of contention, well, then maybe the season's over for them. So like I said, I think there's going to obviously be protocol. We're going to be making up some games. So we're going to see some games. I don't think we're going to have double headers, but we might have more back-to-backs.
That could be crazy. Could you imagine playing 60 minutes in a doubleheader?
Take it back to AAU days. I mean, these boys aren't new to it. So, but still, yeah, that'd be crazy. I don't think it's going to happen. That's probably the extreme.
It's been a while, though. It's been a while since they've had to do that, I would think. Obviously they're practicing, staying conditioned. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I don't think the NBA would ever do that because I feel like from a viewership perspective, I would, but how many people, I know you would, how many people would be sit in front of their TV and watch a doubleheader of basketball, or really any sport? I mean, baseball, even, like, that's been obviously doubleheaders have always been a thing with rainouts, and I can't even sit through one baseball game for the most part, let alone 2. So yeah, it's going to be tough. It'll be interesting. Hopefully they're able to, hopefully everyone gets back, gets healthy, and we can move past this. We'll see. We really can't make any predictions. It just sucks, when we got Jason Tatum MVP, he's playing well, they're winning games, they're first in the Eastern Conference, and then all of a sudden they haven't played in a few days. So it's a little rough from that perspective. But let's talk some ball. Let's do it. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today. We are going to first go with we're going to first talk about the Eastern Conference, and Abenz, I'll go first because I'll go first, kind of show you what I was thinking, and then you can follow suit there. But we're going to go with the Eastern Conference. There are 10 playoff slots this year. Everyone should remember 6 through 10 will require a play-in game for the playoffs. So for the top 10 teams, my question to you was, who do you think is in the top 10 now that will fall out by the end of the season, and who is not in the top 10 that you think will be by the end of the season? And we'll go East first, Eastern Conference, and then we'll go West. So I said the team to fall out. I have the Orlando Magic. And the reason is I think that their loss of Markelle Fultz is so dire to their team, and underratedly so, in the fact that I don't think a lot of people are talking about it enough. It's hard to find. We know as Knicks fans, right? It's hard to play a winning brand of basketball without that primary ball handler. And they lost their main one. Obviously, Cole Anthony's going to have to step in and step up, but he's a rookie, and not to say that he won't do it or not to say that he's not capable, but I think it's a little unfair to maybe expect that from him. And Markelle was really on the up and up. I feel so bad for the guy. Gets picked first from Philly, gets traded from Philly to Orlando, has all these injuries. People are saying he's got the yips, he's nervous, he can't shoot anymore, all this stuff going on, and all of a sudden he figures it out, and now he's injured for the rest of the year, and that sucks. So I got them falling out for that reason. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year by the end of it all. And the team that I have coming up is a team that I feel like not underratedly at all. I feel like I low-key, high-key love this team. The Chicago Bulls. Bro, I'm telling you, this guy Kobe White, every time I watch him play, I'm like, damn. I picked him for Rookie of the Year last year because he had a good value. Obviously, I think John and Zion were the obvious choices, but I had Kobe as a sleeper, and he didn't really start performing well, if you remember, until later in the season, in like February, early March, right before the shutdown, and the Bulls didn't make the bubble. So I think a lot of people forgot about just how good Kobe White was getting by the end of last season. He's been really great. He's shooting he's scoring 17 points a game, put it five plus assists, and he's playing 35 minutes. So he's really doing a great job. And Zach LaVine is having an all-star season. I don't give a you know what about what anyone says about this man, because people including myself, I've bad-mouthed him. I've said, I don't really like the way he plays. I've seen him play a bunch of times in person, and people just think he's a dunk contest champion. Man, this guy can freaking hoop, and when he's on, it's very, very hard to stop him. Do I think that the Chicago Bulls are a contender and could win a champion, and like Zach LaVine could be the best player on a championship team? Hell no, not a chance. But this guy is playing all-star caliber basketball right now, for sure. Don't care what anyone says. Averaging 29 a game, averaging close to 7 rebounds, 7 assists, something like that. And he's just playing a great brand. He put up 45 the other day. I think that he's great. And Patrick Williams is one of the better rookies, I think, in the league. He's just very consistent. And keep in mind, they've lost their last 3 games by like 3 points each. On this West Coast trip, they're playing the Kings. They played the Kings, the Lakers, the Clippers. They're still out there. They're going to have to play the Mavericks next. It's really tough to do that and expect a young team like that to pull out victories. And they've been keeping them close and competitive, and they haven't even had Larry Markkinen. And so when that boy comes back, they're going to be dangerous. So I really think that they're going to go on a string, win a few games, and I can easily see them making the top 10. So, let's see what happens, but that's my take. So, Abenz, I guess first, do you have anything to say? Any rebuttal to that, or what do you think about that?
I think you brought up great points. I still think the Magic are still pretty solid. They did lose Markel Fultz, who hopefully he gets back. Obviously not this year, but next year. We wish him the best, and that's definitely a big loss for them. But I still think they have some pieces out there that will keep them in that top 10. I have a different team falling out, but before I talk about that, I'll also talk about Chicago. I like Chicago. Prior to the season starting, I knew they were going to have trouble scoring because, as you mentioned, Kobe White is a dog. Zach LaVine has been a dog for the past two seasons. He's just a scoring bucket. He's a bucket. He goes and gets it. And I really like the way he plays. He's tough. He's gritty. He gets to the basket. He shoots the three, elevates. He's one of the most athletic point guards, shooting guards out there. So I really like what he's doing. And as you mentioned, Lauri Markkanen will be coming back. So I could definitely see them falling into in that top 10. So, hey, listen, I'm not mad at you for picking those. I hate to be the one to do it.
Don't do it.
I got to do it.
Don't do it.
I have to do it.
Don't do it.
The New York Knicks.
Oh my God.
The New York Knicks.
So we were going to talk about them later, but let's just get it all out of the way now.
I'm just going to get it out the way. Team falling out of the top 10. I don't want to do it, but we were riding the highs in the first couple of weeks, and now we're starting to see that there's just not that much scoring on this team. Aside from Julius Randle, who, he gets his buckets, he gets his points. He's been
bad lately. He's been bad lately.
But are you surprised?
No, not at all.
Then, and if we're relying on him to carry us to the playoffs, I don't think it's going to happen. I was really high on them in the beginning, but now that I'm looking at them, there's no movement on the court anymore. The ball sticks to Julius. So I have them falling out, and I'm a big Knicks fan. You know this, but I have them falling out. Team making a leap. I'm calling it right now. Bradley Beal's having an amazing season right now. They just won last night without Westbrook. They beat the Sixers, albeit shorthanded. I believe it was the Sixers.
Let me fact check that.
I want to say it was the Sixers.
I believe it was two. Let me see. Anyway, keep going.
Anyways, I believe it was the Sixers. But Bradley Beal's a dog, man. And Westbrook didn't play last night.
Oh, it was the Suns.
I see them trending up. Wizards always play this way to start the season. They're always off. But as Scott Brooks gets the team going, they typically trend up towards the middle end of the season over the past couple of seasons. So I see them jumping into that 10th spot. As you said, there is going to be 10 teams that are making it. So I see them making that leap. But I could really see Chicago making that leap as well. So that one's tough. But we'll see. Those are my calls, man. What do you think?
It could be two teams. It could be both those teams. We have no idea. It was the Suns, by the way. The Suns. They murdered them last night. Beal has been on an absolute tear. I don't hate that pick at all. I think that they got some solid pieces. They could potentially be dangerous. If they could figure it out with Westbrook, great. If not, it seems like they could still make a push anyway with just Beal as the best guy. I mean, Beal is the best guy with Westbrook, but with Beal as the only superstar. So we'll see what happens if they use Westbrook as a trade piece, whatever they do. But I definitely agree with that. I could see either team. I also, I get what you're saying with the Knicks, man. We were going to talk about it later, but let me just give you my quick 2 cents on the Knicks. I said it last week. I didn't want to get complacent. This is what we do as Knicks fans, as New York, every single time, not just the Knicks. Anytime the Jets, the Mets, anyone starts doing anything right, we start getting all hyped up. And I'm to blame. I'm guilty too, man. Like, I was all hyped up about this Knicks team, the way they were playing. But I said, it's not time to get complacent. We haven't found the answer yet. We're playing good basketball. Like you said, we stopped moving. We stopped passing the ball around. We were talking about it yesterday. We were texting about it. We stopped the ball movement. Emmanuel Quickly, who I thought was a huge game changer for us when we were on our winning streak, has all of a sudden started being very passive, not having the confidence to shoot. He's dribbling way too much when he has the ball. Julius Randle is not an automatic bucket every night as we could have expected, as you said. RJ Barrett is not getting enough time with the basketball in his hands. It's been really tough to watch. It's been really bad. And when they lost on Friday to the Thunder, and people were like, I was clowning them on social media, but I was serious too. And people were like, oh, you're like, it's one game. They had to lose one game. They lost to the freaking Thunder, whose best player is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And trust me, I love Shai. And I actually wanted us to take OKC tonight to beat the Spurs. I think they're a decent team. But we had no chance at any point in that game of winning. I did not see one spark of energy. And
it's funny you mentioned that, because that's the game that, we were riding that high as Knicks
we turned
fans.
it all around.
And I saw that game and I just said, what is going on?
Yeah, dude. Thank you. Somebody else was thinking the same thing, man.
I'm not mad at you for that. But after I saw that performance, I was like, something's not right.
This ain't it.
This is not it. It was way too stagnant. And people want to talk about Julius Randle, the stats, this and that. The way he plays basketball will not be successful for the Knicks. He holds on to the ball too much. He tries to run the point too much, and you obviously see the high turnover rate. And the ball just gets stuck in his hands for some reason. There's no flow. He's always calling for the ball 18 feet out, 15 feet out, trying to post up. I just think
we need a ball handler bringing up the ball.
Come more to him and stop requesting the ball all the time. I think we need more movement. Tibbs needs to play some of these young boys a little more too, I think. We're relying too much on Reggie Bullock.
Bro, get him out. Get him out.
I think they're the coaching and Tibbs always been hard on rookies. And,
where the hell is Frank? Where's Frank Ntilikina, bro?
And where's Obi Toppin?
Well, Obi's hurt, but where the hell?
With a calf injury, but I've never heard of a calf injury.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but why is Reggie Bullock playing? I want to see how many minutes of games this guy's playing. We'll get our stat department on it. Bro, this guy must be playing like 25 minutes a freaking game, bro. And his main specialty is hitting threes. And I've seen him hit one. I watch him play, and I feel like every time he shoots, I'm like, brick. I feel like I could be out there shooting better percentage.
I get Lance Thomas vibes from Reggie Bullock. I feel like we're putting too much on him to be successful in our system. We are developing players. We are developing our culture. And I just feel like Kevin Knox is balling.
Yeah, play the man.
Insert him into the starting lineup.
Period. End of story.
The Maple, be more aggressive. I've been calling for him to be more aggressive for a year now. Take over, man. This is your team. So
we're giving him permission. We're giving him permission. This is
Knicks fans want to see the Maple take over.
We're not mad at you.
This is coaching. Take 20, 30 shots. We'll lose with you. But I don't want to lose with Julius. Come on now. That's my take on the Knicks.
I'm I'm 100% with you. Any Knicks fan that or anybody that watches basketball and doesn't understand that we can't win, we can't be competitive long term or even short term. I thought maybe short term, like Julius was like, I was like, all right, maybe we'll be a 5 seed, 6 seed this year. Like maybe Julius Randle actually is going to average 25, like 8 and 8. He's not. And if he does, it's going to be very inefficient and not good for us. We're not going to win a lot of games. So we need to get back to good ball movement, everyone getting touches, and the young guys getting the minutes that they need to develop and be comfortable, because they just don't look comfortable out there right now. So that's all. Let's we're beating a dead horse now, but anyway, let's get back on point. So Eastern Conference, you had the Knicks falling out. I don't blame you. I had the Magic falling out just because I have a heart, Abenz. And then come up, we both kind of agreed the Bulls and Wizards seem to be those two teams that definitely could make a leap. So look out for that. Western Conference now. This one's interesting. This one's kind of tough. For the team that the team that's going to be on their way out. So originally I said the Spurs as the team that I thought were going to fall out of the top 10, but just because of coaching, because of DeMar DeRozan and LA, like I can't see that team not being a top 10 team. It would be so, I'd be so surprised if they were not a top 10 team in the West. They missed the playoffs for the first time in 20 years last year, and they were like the 9 seed or something, whatever. So I'd be shocked. The Thunder, on the other hand, is the team that I'm going with. I think that there's too much competition in the Western Conference for them to be long-term, be successful. As good as I already mentioned this, as good as I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, he's not even as good as a Zach LaVine. And we're giving them a lot of slack for having him as their best player. So like, as good as I think Shai is, he is the second or third best player on a contending playoff team. So I really don't think that they have a chance at contending, and I just can't see them maintaining this 500 level of 500 basketball. I mean, they shellacked the Knicks, right? But hey, like we said, they just happen to catch them off their hot streak, coming into a cold streak. They're 5-4 right now. I could see them easily losing like 6 in a row, and all of a sudden they're in like 13th place. So that's the team that I have fallen out. And then the team that I have on the up, this is coming, the Rockets. And honestly, the only reason, don't give me that face. The only reason is because I think that there's always an unstoppable Harden run every year. There's a streak where he puts up like 45 a game and they don't lose for like 10 games. And I'm just waiting for that. That'll happen once. They'll get into the top 10 somehow. That's the only reason. I'm not saying they're going to contend for a chip. Clearly it's not working. Clearly you guys were right. I was in over my head when I put them at 8, the 8th best team in the league. But hey, sometimes you got to go with your gut, right?
I'm not mad at you. Like I said, hey, that's what we're here for. And everything changes on a weekly basis, so we don't even know what's going on sometimes.
Dude, they could still win the chip, bro.
Now that, hey, listen, if James stays,
it could happen.
I could see them jumping into that 10th spot, but I don't think James is staying. So, like I said, well, you're the one who said James isn't staying.
No one wants him though. I
wouldn't want him either.
I would.
I wouldn't. Too much drama. Too much me. He's not a team player. He's not a winner. Not a proven winner. I'd rather take Paul George, to be honest.
See, actually, but like 3 months ago, 3 months ago, you would have said that.
I'll take that back. I don't like both of them, so I won't even take both of them. I just think James Harden is at the point of his career where he wants to win, but he's not willing to make the changes in order to win. So until he accepts that, I wouldn't want him on a contending team. I just wouldn't, because of just his style of playing. He played with CP3. It didn't work out. They folded in Game 6 and Game 7. So listen, wherever he lands, I hope he does well, but I don't think he's gonna make that team win the chip.
Yo, James, if you're listening to this, we want you in New York, bro. Don't listen to Abenz. We will trade Julius Randle, and actually, I don't know. I don't know what we would trade for you. I don't think we have what it would take, but if you want to come, if you can figure it out, we'll take you in New York, bro.
Nothing against you, James. All I'm saying is, as a person who loves ball, as a person who grew up playing ball, all that media stuff, all the outside noise, I don't care about that. When we step on the court, I want to win no matter what. And Harry, you played with me. You know how I play. So, some of us are just built different.
See, but don't you think he does that though? That's my argument that's the argument I don't get, because whenever I see this guy plays, he's always dogging. He's always trying to win. He always cares. And I wouldn't say he's selfish on the court he has the ball in his hands at all times, and that's just the way he's the most effective. It's not because he's not like, I need the ball like because I want to shoot, but I'm not the best shooter alive. Like, he's one of the best shooters in the NBA, and he's a great passer, a great shot creator for himself and others. It makes sense that he is a ball dominant player, but he clearly wants to win and tries. He sucks with the media, but I think every time he steps on the court, that man's trying to win games. And yeah, he's trying to get buckets, but ultimately for him, that's just how you win games. Same with Westbrook. It's the same way Westbrook plays.
And you know what both their problems are? They can't get it done in the playoffs. So all that scoring somehow disappears in the playoffs. Playoffs comes around. You know, you're on the verge of making the finals. You miss 27 straight threes. You become stagnant. You don't attack the rack like you were in the beginning of the season. Style of play changes.
They almost beat the Warriors. They would have beaten the Warriors with KD, bro. If Chris Paul hadn't gotten that hamstring.
CP3, you mean?
Chris Paul. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, you said KD. KD was injured.
Yeah. Chris Paul. Yeah, so they could have they could have won that series easily if that injury didn't happen. There were a couple series where he checked out. I will admit that. There's no argument against
Manu
that.
Ginobili.
There's no argument. There's no argument against that. But
27 straight missed threes.
Yeah, I think given the right team and the right opportunity, and the thing is,
I think he had the right team already, though. I think he already had the right team. When CP3 was there, when they had all the snipers around, Trevor Ariza was there. They had.
I don't want to talk about it too much, but I just feel like with Philly, it would be really fun to see. I think they would really make a push, a legit. I don't think this team's winning. I'm sorry, this team's not winning the championship or the Eastern Conference the way it's designed now. I think with James Harden, you at least have a chance. No.
You definitely
have two top 10 players in the league.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I just want to see it in the playoffs. You know me. I don't judge the regular season.
That's the team I want to make the trade. But hey, I'm not a GM. I'm not a coach. So, you know.
Daryl Morey, make it happen. Make his wish come true.
Yeah, come on, Daryl.
Okay, my who I think is falling out of the top 10 and who I think is going to jump into the top 10. So I'm going to agree with you. I just don't see OKC having enough firepower to sustain this little run that they're on. You know, SGA is a baller, and I think he's gonna just continue to develop. I see his shot. He's more confident in his shot. He's more confident in scoring. He's attacking the rack. You know, he's doing it all. But again, I don't see enough scoring on that team. So I just see them falling out. Good for them that they're playing well right now. They have a new head coach, so good for him as well. But I just don't see them sustaining it, as you said. I don't think Houston will make that leap because we don't know what's going to happen with James. Boogie Cousins seems to be getting into fights every other night. So I don't know what's going on in Houston, but I do feel bad for their new head coach. You know, he's put in a tough situation. Yeah. You know, he's put in a tough situation, and, you know, hopefully everything works out for him because this is definitely not on him. But the team that I have jumping into that top 10 is NOLA. I want to talk about NOLA because I think this team is solid, but they're young. They don't have that experience. They kind of remind me of the Suns a little before CP3. They're really tough. They play hard, but sometimes you're just watching them play and you're like, they just don't have that veteran leadership. And you would have thought that Eric Bledsoe may have brought some veteran leadership there or Adams, but I just don't see it right now. However, I do think they're going to trend up. You know, they have Zion, they have Zoe. Ingram's having another spectacular season. So they just need to figure out a way to win games because it seems like they're always up by 15. They're up a good amount, or they should be up by more than what they are. And it's because they're making silly mistakes, silly plays, turnovers. We saw it against Charlotte. They were up like 18 points in the second quarter. And, you know, they let the lead slip. So Van Gundy needs to do better with those players. But I see them trending up, and I see them getting into that spot.
I'm with you. I agree with you on that. I can totally see it. That was the other team I was thinking. I picked Harden for I picked the Rockets for a couple reasons. One being Harden, and two being controversy with you guys a little bit cause of those stir up. I think they were the obvious pick though.
So wait. Chipotle bowl bet on that?
I think they both could make it, bro.
So similar to the East, Chicago and the Wizards.
Yeah, I could see them both making that leap, but I'll do a Chipotle bet if one of them makes it and the other doesn't. I'll shake your oh man, excuse me. I'll shake your hand right now. All right, deal. Chipotle bet. You heard it here first. So I got the Rockets, you got the Pelicans. Great. So, but yeah, I could see that. I think Zion needs to step it up defensively a little bit too. But I could totally see them going on like, a 6-game, 7-game winning streak, a couple winning streaks, and people being like, whoa, this team's so good. They got Brandon Ingram, they got Zion, they got Lonzo. We forgot how good they were last year towards the end of the season when they got Zion. And as people do, they speak in hindsight and forget about things pretty quickly in today's day and age. So yeah, I could totally see that. So, all right. So anything else, any other teams you wanted to touch on or anything like that before we wrap up? I just got a couple more things I wanted to talk to the listeners about.
I just want to I gave a shout out last week. I want to give another shout out to the Golden State Warriors. They keep proving the naysayers wrong. And listen, I said it before, big LeBron fan, big Cleveland fan, wasn't the biggest fan of the Warriors back in the day. But I like what Steph Curry's showing right now. He's really showing that he's a leader out there. Him along with Draymond Green. So shout out Draymond Green too, who's been playing really well. So I just want to give them a shout out because they're balling right now. They're in the 6th seed right now. They're above 500, and they're doing their thing. Keep it up, Chef, because I like watching you play. When he goes on one of those sprees where it just seems like he can't miss. I mean,
it's
as
fun,
a basketball fan, you got to love that.
It's fun. So question, I guess maybe we could save it for next time. You could think about it a little bit. Draymond Green, Hall of Fame?
For sure. And I was skeptical in the past. I thought he was a product of the system, but he's really a leader out there, and he holds his players accountable.
Yeah, and he might be a product of the system, but one, there's no way to ever prove that. Two, he could be a good product of another system. He might just be good at playing in whatever system he's given, right? So I think that's a BS excuse. I totally agree with you.
And how many rings does he have?
He's got 3, bro. Yeah, so yeah, 3 rings. Yeah, I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer. But yeah, he just proved the only reason I asked that is because people were like, yeah, the Warriors are getting killed. It was like, dude, they don't have Draymond Green. He's a Hall of Famer. He's their defensive anchor. Like, people don't understand that there's 2 sides of the court. There's an offense and a defense. And what he does on the offensive side is pretty good too. But what he does on the defensive side of the floor is impossible to replicate if you're just a role player, somebody that wouldn't normally be in that position. So they were missing him. They got him back, and now all of a sudden they're rolling. So yeah, I agree with you. I love when Steph goes on those runs, and it's fun watching him hit shots the way he does. Acrobatic, as Clyde would say.
Yeah. So hey, listen, there was just a lot of a bad talk about Steph Curry for a little bit there in the beginning of the season. After him he basically didn't play last year. Let's just call it what it is. So I just wanted to, shout them out. I also want to give a little shout out to a team that's not doing well right now, but I do see them trending up, the Toronto Raptors. I know they're 2-8 right now, but they're starting to play solid ball. Pascal Siakam was lost, but I think we finally found him again. So Pascal, if you're listening, to give you a little shout out, keep doing your thing. Toronto, I've always liked the Raptors. I see them trending up. Don't see them making the playoffs, but I see them being gritty.
I thought you were gonna pick them. I thought you were gonna pick them as your team.
I mean, hey, they have a shot, but right now, week 3, week 4, I don't see it.
Yeah, they haven't been great, but yeah, they are playing a little bit better. Worried us in a couple bets, but hey, we made it. So,
yeah, definitely.
So speaking of bets, $1,000 bets. So let's talk real quick about $1,000 week. initiative here. So we've been betting, as you've seen on Instagram. If you follow our Instagram, if you don't, at True Ballers Pod right now. We've been posting pretty much every day. We didn't post tonight because we didn't like any games, but we are trying to make y'all some money. We're up $169 on the season so far.
And if you put more money on it, you could be up even more.
If you put more, you could be up more. If you put less, you could be up less, whatever. But we're trying to make you guys some money. We've been on a hot streak after a little cold streak. You know, that's how it goes. But we will be back at it tomorrow. And then starting next week, me, Alex, and Chris will be we'll be a little more competitive. We're each going to have our own sheet, and we're going to be posting about that as well on the reg. So make sure to follow us, see who's doing well, see who's trending, see who's not, and follow whoever you want, whoever you think has the valid betting strategy. If you bet, if you don't bet, it's just fun, and it's a good way to learn the game a little bit more than you might have known before. So yeah, make sure to follow us on IG at True Ballers Pod, on Twitter at Ballers Pod. Make sure to subscribe and give us a follow wherever you get your podcast. But Abenz, always fun talking to you, man. And we'll get Chris back on next time.
Shout out Chris D. You know,
the one and only.
He's the newlywed, so he's been on his little hiatus right now. Shout out to Chris, and Chris, I hope you're doing well. We'll see you soon, right, Chris?
Yeah, we'll see him. We'll see him next time. So, all right, bro. All right, thanks, man.
All right, guys.